All right, when I first, started rolling with my brother, you know, I was doing security. I was in charge of security back then, and I was real proud, of what my brother had accomplished, because I remember the old days before any of this happened. I remember the puff rice with no the sugar smacks that didn't have the sugar on. It was just the smack. I remember the welfare peanut butter tearing up the bread. Okay. I remember.
Explain the thing about when you didn't understand the welfare peanut butter until you got older.
Oh, welfare peanut butter? Well, welfare peanut butter is kind of like a Mary Jane. Imagine trying to take a Mary Jane and spread it on the bread and make a sandwich. Well, now that when I went to the Navy, I found that if you take some cooking oil and add it to the welfare peanut butter, it turns into like Skippy. It's nice and creamy, and you can spread it. But I didn't know that when I was a kid, you know what I'm saying? So we fucked up mad bread trying to make peanut butter sandwiches and shit. So to go from that, to go from the apartment to the house in Long Island to, having this brother that became a star, you know what I'm saying? And knowing that, when we was growing up, they didn't have all these channels on TV. You only had a couple of channels, and my brother pointed at the television and said, I'm gonna be on that one day. And when he pointed at it, I think it was probably one black person on it. It was Julia or something like, you know what I'm saying? It was unfathomable that he would even become a star, but he did. And I was mad proud of my brother, man. Well, first of all, when we was kids, right? I'm the older brother. So, I put it to you like this. I found out that I could whip a lot of motherfuckers' ass that I didn't think I could whip because they stepped to him. You know what I'm saying? It was guys who I was afraid of, but I've always been more afraid of my moms and shit. So I was like, I don't care if you are a big butchie, I got to do you because if I go home, my little brother is messed up, and my mother said, well, what did you do? I better be messed up worse than him. You know what I'm saying? My mother was the type, when we in Brooklyn, hang the belt out the window and say, either you whip his ass or I'm gonna whip your ass. Which means the only thing that was acceptable was victory, man. That was the only thing acceptable. I can remember what my brother was doing before I even started working for him. And he was just doing comedy, and he would go and he would do like a high school, or he would go do Hofstra University, or little sets he was doing around the area. And the ability to go in front of an audience and express yourself and make them laugh, you know what I'm saying? That was like really amazing to me that he had that power, to stand in front of a group of people and say, this is what I think is funny, and I'm gonna make you laugh and do it. But because he was so good at it and I was so proud of him, I was like if you didn't laugh, I was real emotional. I probably would fuck you up for not laughing. That's how I felt. Because I felt that everybody should be laughing because I thought it was funny. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else is laughing. But there's always that one hater, that one person that's not going to go with the flow, that's going to try to throw an egg on the show and all that. And I would always react to that person. When I started working for my brother, as security, that was the reason that ultimately led to me not being able to perform that task for him anymore, because I was the hothead security guard. To be a security guard, you have to separate yourself from the person and do a professional job. You can't be reacting to everything you hear or insults or slurs that somebody. And if you're a celebrity, and especially if my brother was a young male, you know what I'm saying, women was on him. I mean, I remember walking through the club, man. We used to go in the club and drain it. He used to drain the club, man. Just walk in and go like this, do a lap, walk out. All the girls in the club would leave wherever he was going. You know what I'm saying? And so the guys are gonna be saying shit that, fuck that motherfucker, man. Shit. I got money too, nigga. Nigga pull out, this little knot, whatever. That happened a lot. And I used to always react to cats like that. As soon as they do that, I'll be like, what? Bah! Now I'm rolling on the ground with this motherfucker. Fuck that motherfucker, man. Shit. Punk ass nigga. I have to react to that. And it was to the extreme with me where they knew this is what led them to saying, you know what, Charlie, maybe you should perform a different job in the operation here because you know you overreacting, man. You reacting to too much shit, you know, and eventually you're gonna do something bad, man. You're gonna jump on, you know, a midget or a baby or something, man. 'Cause you just whoever say something, you know. I almost gave this old man a heart attack on the plane because he asked us were we a basketball team, and you know I took that personal. You know, this was an old white man, and we was in first class. And my man was, I mean, he was real old. And he looked and said, who are you guys? You're a basketball team? And then my brain added this up. Well, he's about 30 years older than us, which means he's from the 60s, where they had the dogs and the hoses and all that. And there was no niggas on first class. So I flipped. I said, no, motherfucker, we the Black Panthers. And I'm the president, bitch. Turn your motherfucking ass around and fly and mind your motherfucking business. And then he was like this. You know, the rest of the flight, he was horrified. You know, that's how I would react. I would always go to the extreme. And the ultimate extreme was one night we was in Chicago, and we were in a restaurant, and there was a football player named Daryl Stingley. And Daryl Stingley, you know, he had got paralyzed from the neck down by another football player named Jack Tatum. He took a hell of a hit. He got paralyzed, you know, which is a very tragic thing, you know. So Daryl Stingley happened to come to this restaurant we were in, and in that town he was a celebrity, and he still had a whole bunch of girls with him, you know what I'm saying? But you know, my brother was in there with the tight leather on and all that. Daryl Stingley, you know what I'm saying? He couldn't move, man. You know what I'm saying? He's over here. So let me give you an idea of what was going on, man. We at our table chilling, right? Now the girls with Stingley, they was paying a little bit too much attention to my brother. So we didn't call it hating back then. When Stingley started hating, man, the motherfucker, he's like this. Fuck Eddie Murphy. Fuck that punk ass nigga. Shit. I got money. The fuck y'all keep looking at this nigga for? Fuck him. Fuck Buckwheat. Niggas corny anyway. I don't like Beverly Hills Cop. It's going on and on and on and on. Loud, man, like the whole restaurant could hear it. No one is saying anything to Daryl because, you know, as a culture, you know, as a society, it's kind of wrong to step to this guy. You know? But, you know, like I told you, man, I make my own rules, man. Fuck that, man. If you're a talking head motherfucker and you acting like you forgot that that's what you are, I'm going to hold a mirror up and let you see what's going on. I went over there. I told him, I said, look, man, you want me to flip your fucking chair over? Huh? And stomp your mouth? Because that's the only thing that's moving. You want to lose that? Huh? And he looked me in the eye and he seen that I was dead serious. I was going to flip that motherfucker's chair over and stomp his mouth, man. And he got horrified. I said, I'm going back over to my table. If I hear one more peep out of you, man, when I come back over here, I'm gonna fuck you up, man. Now shut the fuck up. And you know, then his eyelids was trembling because that's the only thing that can move. And he's sitting there and shit, you know what I'm saying? So I go back to my seat and I sit down. My brother was like, yo, man, why that was messed up, man. I said, you hear him saying anything wrong about you anymore? See, that's how messed up it is. You hear any more Eddie Murphy's a bitch, fuck Beverly Hills Cop? The nigga's silent, right? That's how it's supposed to be. He's supposed to be enjoying his meal, shut the fuck up over there and eat his meal. That's what he's doing there. And the girls that was over there, you know, they was quiet, and I heard one of them say, Daryl, you're not eating anything. He had lost his appetite. You know what I mean? I'm sorry I ruined his meal, but he wasn't ruining mine. I'm not hearing it. You know, and it was all stemming from, that's my brother, man, I'm not having it. I was to the point where, man, if I went to a show and you was that hater in the audience that shit wasn't fun, jamming you, man. Because the shit was funny. You know, if it's 10,000 people laughing and you that one joker that want to try to squeeze lemon, fuck you. I don't even want you to be here. And I took it as a personal crusade until they was like, you know what, you're a little overzealous with the way you're performing your job. So that was how I ended up not doing that no more, man.